We have an absolutely shocking Ivan Demidov update coming out of Russia, as Roman Rottenberg has indicated that Demidov will be scratched, likely for the entire playoffs. That, plus some implications of him going down to the MHL and not being allowed to come over to the NHL early. There is a bunch of new stuff we have to break down on the Ivan Demidov front. But we also have a note from a certain player that a lot of Habs fans are asking for a trade for, as he names something very interesting about Nick Suzuki. We got a bunch of great stuff to dive into coming up on this episode of Habs Digest. But before we do, I'm just going to ask you guys for one thing, and that's to leave a like on the video. We're going to aim for 850 likes on this video. I know a lot of you are fired up about this Demidov stuff. If you want him to come to North America right now, leave a thumbs up. You know you want to. We all want him over here, Jesse. But look, we're going to talk about that a little bit later, and I want to start with a certain guy by the name of Bo Horvat. Now, he was recently asked, and I think it was an Islanders promotional thing, who do you think's the most underrated player in the league? And he had this to say. He said, I'd like to say probably Nick Suzuki. He's got a lot of really great qualities to his game. He's turning into a really good leader. He's a really great hockey player. So not only, Jesse, are we hearing from really good players in the NHL that Nick Suzuki is one of the most underrated players in the league, we're hearing from the former captain of the Vancouver Canucks that he thinks Nick Suzuki is a good leader. What were your thoughts when you heard this? And maybe even some thoughts about Bo Horvat in general, because I know a lot of Habs fans have him on the mind recently.
Him and Barzal, which has come up. But you know what? I'm happy with either of those players at our 2C. I think that Bo Horvat, he brings some size, but also a fair amount of goal scoring. But what we know is super important with Kent Hughes is that chemistry. We know Bo Horvat coming from the same hometown as Nick Suzuki, that London, Ontario connection. So we know when Kent Hughes is going to be doing his investigative work here, that the vibes are important. The culture fit is going to matter a lot. He's going to really want to bring in somebody who wants to be a part of this team. And I think Bo Horvat, in a lot of ways, that's figured out. 29 years old, brings a lot of size to the lineup as well. I don't know, I think it's possible we do get it from the Eastern Conference, but I wouldn't be surprised, Josh. Considering that we are going for a 1C or kind of a 2C type of things, where maybe some Eastern Conference GMs, Islanders are kind of in the running with us right now, is, maybe in the Western Conference is where we might have a little bit of luck getting that big fish, knowing that we're not going to be in that direct competition all the time. It is a huge piece. So I think that could be a big part of this. Obviously, Quinton Byfield does come to mind as well. But no, I just love right now that Nick Suzuki, it's one of the secrets in the NHL right now of him being, the most underrated player. He's got that Iron Man streak going on. But with, his play of late, the cat's starting to come out of the bag. People are starting to actually realize how good Nick Suzuki is. In fact, you can count him on those key times. Not only is he a good player, but he's a guy right now that's getting a reputation for being clutch. Just those biggest moments that you can really kind of count on him. So I'm all here for a Suzuki Horvat 1-2 punch for next season.
Hey, so clutch that Jesse, you called it. I mean, yesterday's game, look, Habs were down 2-1. You're like, oh, Nick Suzuki got something left to say. He's got such a reputation that this is the stuff that starts happening. And, that's actually a very interesting point that Horvat's also from London. Now, the big thing with him, of course, Kent Hughes in recent interviews, including one with Frank Saravalli today, we're not going to discuss that today. Go watch it, though. It's very interesting. He was saying, and he said it to Eric Engels too, you bring in a guy on term, you want to make sure that they're not going to be declining at the end and it's going to be a bad contract. Whereas Horvat's under contract, I believe, for 6 more years after this until he's about 35 or 36 years old. And so that's one of those things where at the $8 million price tag, you want to make sure that he's still contributing to your team. But look, regardless of that whole thing, Bo Horvat's a very interesting name, but I think you're also right. Look, we play the Islanders tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe mid-game, there's a little handshake going on. I don't know. That's one idea. I know some fans are bullish on it. Some fans like it. Some fans hate it. Let us know your thoughts on Bo Horvat and this interesting comment he had on Nick Suzuki. But the big fish, I guess, really, Jesse, this offseason, probably the biggest fish for Montreal, unless Kent pulls off something absolutely massive, is our boy demigod, Ivan Demidov. Now, there is a lot of controversy around him right now after recent reports coming out today. The first thing here, I'll show you the tweet from Andrew Zadarnovsky. He said, Ivan Demidov will be a healthy scratch for SKA's next game. And head coach Roman Rottenberg insinuated that he will remain a scratch for the playoffs. Demidov is SKA's leading scorer. Now, insinuation, he basically said that Demidov needs to work out, needs to get stronger for playoff style hockey or whatever. Some very weird stuff going on, considering he's literally the leading scorer for SK St. Petersburg. Now, RG.org, they did a great piece that I'll link down below as well. We'll talk about some stuff from there in a second, Jesse, but I mean, look, Demidov has been on a roll, but then he started to cool off recently, started getting benched, started getting less ice time, and now all of a sudden Rottenberg's saying he needs to get stronger for playoffs. Again, I don't want to necessarily insinuate it's because he doesn't extend his contract, but unfortunately, I feel like that's one of the only things I'm left to say, because at this point, I thought it was mind-blowing earlier this season to be left on the bench. To hear that he could very well be scratched for the playoffs is like another world of mind-blowing. My mind's exploding at this.
For sure. Definitely not helping SKA with this. This is definitely contract related and not merit based whatsoever, because we know Ivan Demidov, like, he's just been getting better and better as the season goes on. And his oppression under Roman Rottenberg is coming to an end very, very soon. May 31st, 2025 is when that contract ends. There's a little bit of those rumors right now. Basically, the only way that Demidov could get over, they definitely want to keep him for as long, and they're still, I don't know, hoping against hope to get him to resign. Like, you would think at a certain point, just let the man be. He wants to kind of play in the NHL. Basically, the only way that it's going to work is if the Montreal Canadiens make the Stanley Cup final, and then on June 1st, where they can sign him. That's the first day where he is eligible. Obviously, there is a world where that can happen. We don't want to rule it out. Not the highest likelihood right now. But again, if the Montreal Canadiens get into the playoffs, it'll be a little bit of motivation for them, knowing that if they can get into that Stanley, win a couple rounds, that final one, they're going to get support in a lot of ways that would actually make this team just look so much better.
And hey, you know what's actually interesting? I saw a tweet today. It was a J-Fresh with someone else saying, hey, look, don't look now, but the President's Trophy caliber Washington Capitals might be going up against the scrappy 8th seed Montreal Canadiens. Where have we heard that before? You know, just saying. But right now, you're very right. June 1st would be the first day Montreal could sign him. But there could be a way to get him sooner if it wasn't for SKA seemingly just holding out. Because Alexander Nikishin, the captain, one of the top prospects in the world, 22-year-old defenseman, who's second on the team in points, only I think 1 or 2 points behind Ivan Demidov, Carolina Hurricanes prospect, they're allowing him to go early, probably because he stuck around for a few extra years, did his service for SKA. But Demidov does not have that option, not just because of that, but also due to his MHL eligibility. Now, you heard that right, MHL, the league that our boy dominated in his draft year, had 60 points in 30 games. If SKA, this is from RG.org, the anonymous source, if SKA is eliminated early from the playoffs, which seems to be a likely scenario based on a lot of insiders over there, Demidov will continue playing in the MHL to help the club compete for the Harlamov Cup, a trophy he won with SKA 1946 and 2024, of course. The organization prioritizes winning titles at every level. Look, on the one hand, Jesse, I get this. On the other hand, I just feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm going a little overboard here, but do you feel that's just like a little disrespectful? More than a little. This dude's your leading scorer, and you're like, you know what? If you don't play, we'll send you back down to the junior league so you can do some good stuff again. At the end of the day, Jesse, I know he has nothing left to prove, but to hear that that is one of the outcomes to end this season just leaves a real sour taste in my mouth. I don't mean to be negative, but like, come on.
It's kind of on the form of blackmail a little bit there, because if we're talking about player development, like, if we want this player, again, this has been your leading scorer. Like, there's no way that you can say that not having Ivan Demidov on your team is helping SKA really. So again, you're hurting the team, which you have to feel kind of is definitely upsetting some players on that team, his line mates there. But then as well as you're kind of missing out on his development in the playoffs, which could be so important for him. Again, to then kind of bring him down where it's not really serving him at that point to be in the NHL. It's just going to be like a glorified scrimmage. Like, how much actual development he's going to get from that. Again, it's definitely kind of a step back at this point in time. But again, we know he's putting his work on the sides. It doesn't matter the ice time, what he's getting. Ivan Demidov, he's a gym rat because he knows that time in Montreal is coming. So he's put in that work behind the scenes. He's getting out on that ice because he wants to be ready for the time that he's in Montreal. And we know it's coming to a close. He's had to deal with a lot of things, but he's made the best of it. Like, even with right now with this benching, he's staying really professional, just doing what he needs to do. And for me, this is just even more of a good sign that we really picked the right guy.
Absolutely. Personality-wise, the dude is committed to, look, he knows the situation. He's agreed to it. He's committed to pushing through it and working his butt off. I mean, listen to his teammates, other people in the KHL. They praise him all the time. Habs organization, Kent Hughes, can't stop talking about Ivan Demidov, and how he's going to be such a big acquisition this summer. I'm excited. You should be excited. This is really controversial, though, so I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. I have a funny feeling I know which side of this fence you're going to land on, but I'd still like to hear them nonetheless down below, because that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching every single day. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.